You are now tuned in to Smoking with Reed G's Radio. I need everybody listening to go grab their blunt, light they spliff, roll they joint. Cause today, we got a very special surprise. Today we gonna go for a ride in the G's Mobile.
Hey, I said roll it, light it, let the smoke just rise. Read G's on the screen, good vibes all night. Twist another joint, keep a flame in sight. Smoking with Reed G's, we hide the street lights. Roll it, light it, let the smoke just rise. Reed G's on the screen, good vibes all night. Twist another joint, keep a flame in sight. Smoking with Reed G's, we hide the street lights.
Hi, yo! Welcome back to another episode of Smoking with Reed G's, where we get fried and react to videos. Today, we got a different video. How good was Jerry Rice actually? I think I just looked this up because I was just curious, but I was like, man, I might as well react to it. So let's get into it. I know Jerry Rice hold like so many records and stuff like that, but I never really like watched him play for real, so let's tune in.
What goals have you set for yourself? Number one, I would like to be the all-time receiver.
If fate hadn't intervened, he may never have played organized football. He went to a college you've never heard of, and yet he went on to live in the end zone on Sundays and atop the NFL record books forever. So, just how good was Jerry Rice actually? While most future NFL players spent countless nights as a kid dreaming about making it to the league, that was the furthest thing from Rice's mind. Growing up in a Mississippi town with a population of just 600 people, he was the sixth of 8 children.
You know, I think growing up in Crawford, Mississippi is just like all family. Everybody, they were very close.
With 8 kids to provide for, Rice's parents had to work nonstop to just put food on the table. Mrs. Rice would clean the houses of rich families, while Mr. Rice was a bricklayer, in addition to a handful of other random jobs. In an effort to chip in, Jerry and his brothers would often pick corn, cotton, carrots, and bale hay.
Well, it was very tight, but I think it taught us the meaning of hard work and dedication. You know, we didn't have everything, and we had to wait out our turn for.
Yo, I ain't gonna lie. It's crazy how a lot of the like athletes, not just athletes, a lot of the good ass athletes, they grew up on this. Like especially back in the day, they grew up on like helping their parents work around the crib when they was young boys. A lot of like super duper structure, you know, like that shit is crazy, bro. And then they end up just being like the hardest working athletes because that shit just already in them.
Clothes for everything.
That's crazy. I didn't know
It's
that he
wrong
didn't
for me
really
to
play
eat Cinnamon
football
Toast
that much.
Crunch,
I didn't know he didn't really play
considering
football.
I'm also Cinnamon Toast Crunch. But ever since my first Cinnadust covered bite, I can't hide who I am. I must.
Fuck. Forgot. I forgot you gotta mute these motherfuckers now, gang. I need to.
High school, Rice's
If any of y'all know, I need y'all help on how to not get my reactions copyrighted, bro. Real shit.
focus was so far from one day making the NFL that he still hadn't even played organized football. He loved playing it outside with friends and watching it on TV, but his mother thought that it was too rough for him to join his school's team. Then, on one random school day, Rice was doing something he shouldn't have been, and everything changed. His school's assistant principal caught him and a friend skipping class, so Rice fled the scene like his life depended on it. The assistant principal was so blown away by Rice's speed that he told the football coach about it. The coach immediately offered Rice a spot on the team, but there was a problem.
Yo, imagine the way you start playing football is you got caught skipping class and the principal couldn't catch you. That's crazy as hell, bro.
His mother still didn't want him to play. However, the more she fought it, the more her son was determined to make it happen. So she eventually gave in, and Rice's football playing career was officially set to begin.
After I got disciplined, then the principal wanted me to go out for the football team, and I
Were you
fell in
great
love
right
with it.
away?
No, not at all.
Every day that summer at 7 a.m., he and one of his brothers joined his father laying bricks for 8-hour shifts on scorching hot days. Jerry said, "My brother and I, we had developed this technique where you throw the bricks up, they were separated, and I was snatching them in the air. Doing this over and over again sharpened Jerry's hand-eye coordination and increased his hand strength." He also said the experience taught him the true meaning of hard work.
We had a responsibility, and you had to live up to it.
That's
you had
crazy.
to help generate and bring money into the house.
And as if those daily grueling shifts weren't enough, after work, Rice would get dropped off for a 2-hour football practice. And once that was over,
Bro, imagine as a 16, 15-year-old kid, you wake up every Saturday, you gotta go to work for 8 hours. And then you still gotta go to football practice, bro. Hell no.
he'd then run 5 miles to get home. Rice said he wasn't the most gifted or talented player on the team, but he had something that none of his teammates did, an appreciation for and a love of hard work. By the start of his junior season, Rice was in unbelievable physical shape and ready to finally show the world what he could do on the gridiron. He played on
That
both
is
sides of the
crazy,
ball as a
gang.
wide receiver and defensive back. But because his school was so small, most of his stats weren't officially recorded. But according to a sports journalist from back then, Rice, as a senior, caught 50 passes for 30 touchdowns. But
Damn.
whatever the actual numbers were, he did enough to earn himself a Mississippi All-State selection and attention from major colleges. Over 40 D1 schools contacted Rice, including his dream school of Mississippi State University. But none of them believed in him enough to offer a scholarship. The only program that did
Why y'all reaching out if y'all not gonna offer him a scholarship? Y'all reaching out for him to come and pay? The fuck?
that was
Why y'all
Mississippi
reaching out to
Valley
him?
State, a Division I AA school. Reflecting on why he eventually committed to them, Rice said, "Mississippi Valley sent up a coach and I had a chance to have a conversation with him and shake his hand. That goes a long, long way towards making you feel you can really
Dude.
trust someone." Rice also explained, at the time they were also throwing the ball about 90% of the time, so it was a great opportunity for me. They assured me that the ball was going to be in the air, coming my way, and then it was up to me to prove to everyone that I could be a professional athlete. He arrived on campus eager to prove Mississippi Valley right for believing in him. As a freshman, he caught 30 passes for 400.
What the fuck is that jersey? What the fuck is that jersey, eh? Hell no.
128 yards and 2 touchdowns. Rice followed this up the next
Okay.
season by catching 66 passes for
They doubled
1,133
that
yards
shit.
and 7 touchdowns. It was a very solid start to his collegiate career. Playing at such a small program, Rice knew that he would have to put up eye-popping numbers to get the attention of teams and scouts at the next level. His junior season would most likely make or break his chances at going pro. The task was even tougher for him than people realized. As he said, the food given to him at school was not enough for a growing man. Times were so hard for Rice that he often had to rely on his friends for food. But this lack of nourishment never stopped Rice from getting in extra work with his quarterback. The duo became inseparable, as they would get in hours of additional reps together late at night. That season, their chemistry on the field was impossible to miss. Rice set
Who the fuck is
NCAA
the other
records
ball?
for
Why
most
you saying
receptions
me?
with 102 and receiving yards with
Damn.
1,450, on his way to being named an All-American. Just in case that didn't send a loud enough message to the NFL, Rice somehow managed to take his game to another level as a senior. He broke
And we say
both
all
of his
4
records
years.
with
Yo,
103
them
receptions for
jerseys is
1,682
horrible,
yards
gang.
and set another one with 27 receiving touchdowns. Having been named an All-American again, Rice shattered every Mississippi Valley receiving record, finishing for 301 receptions for 4,693 yards and 50
he had
touchdowns.
almost
During his
five-
collegiate
damn.
career, he broke
Almost
18
5,000 yards,
NCAA
50
records.
touchdowns.
It didn't matter what
18
school he played
records.
at. There was simply no debating that Jerry Rice belonged in the NFL. Legendary 49ers coach Bill Walsh fell in love with him watching his college highlights. Walsh's team was coming off 2 Super Bowl victories in the previous 4 seasons, and he believed Rice would keep them at the top. Walsh described him as a swift, smooth player who's got great instincts running with the ball, going to the ball, and catching in a crowd. This analysis inspired San Francisco to get aggressive on draft day and trade their first, second, and third round picks for New England's first and third round picks. So, with the 16th pick of the 1985 draft, the 49ers did something Rice
Damn.
never thought would happen. They drafted him.
San Francisco 49ers select 16th pick in the first round. Wide receiver, Jerry Rice, Mississippi Valley.
Years later, he admitted, "To be honest, I never thought I was going to get drafted." Heading into his rookie season, Rice was determined to reward the 49ers for taking a chance on him. He also wanted to show everyone that he belonged in the league, and his insane college numbers weren't just the product of poor competition. But what ended up happening was Rice was putting too much pressure on himself.
Did you lose a lot of money sports betting?
What do you mean he put too much pressure on himself?
He only had 28 receptions for 493 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Damn.
Looking back on this slow start, Rice said, "I think I wanted to prove myself so much that I overdid it. I was dropping footballs, and then the media got down on me, and the fans started booing me." While this treatment would have caused some players to spiral out of control, it was a wake-up call for Rice. He tapped into his old ways by becoming the first player on the field for practice and the last one to leave. And
see, that's what I'm talking about, bro. It's not about how you start. It's about how you finish, how you respond to losing, how you come back from fucking up.
Everything
So you
came
did.
together in Week
Yeah.
14 against the Rams, when Rice exploded for 10 receptions, 241 yards, and a touchdown. 2 weeks later, in the regular season finale,
240?
he had 7 receptions for 111 yards, bringing CBS announcer Pat Summerall to boldly declare,
"He is going to be a great receiver. Barring injury, he's going to be one of the best to ever play."
It was an extremely
keep
strong
yawning,
finish
yo.
to his rookie campaign and generated a ton of buzz ahead of year 2. Everyone was anxious to see whether it was a fluke or a sign of things to come. The 1986
Oh, wow,
season
my
would
light on.
provide an emphatic answer to that question. Rice went out and led the league in receiving yards with 1,570 and touchdown receptions with 15. He showed flashes of brilliance, as there seemed to be nothing that he couldn't do. Rice had the ability to catch a short pass and then make defenders miss, beat them deep with his speed and route running, or out-jump defenders to win contested balls. As a first-team All-Pro, he was now filled with confidence. Rice built off his brilliant season with what was possibly the greatest season ever by a receiver. In the strike-shortened 87 season, Rice managed to rack up 1,078 yards and a league record 22 receiving touchdowns in just 12 games. To this day, the league record is only 23 receiving touchdowns, which Randy Moss did in 16 games. Rice had officially established himself as one of the next faces of the league and was named Offensive Player of the Year, becoming the first wide receiver to ever take home the award. Having already filled his resume with a handful of personal accolades, the only thing missing was team success. And in 1988, Rice set out to check that box off. He put together another dominant regular season, which was good enough for his 3rd straight first-team All-Pro nomination. That postseason, he put San Francisco on his back and helped them to a Super Bowl appearance with 10 receptions for 194 yards and 5 touchdowns in the team's 2 wins. Then, on the game's biggest stage, Rice etched his name into NFL history. While leading the 49ers to another ring, and his first, he set 2 Super Bowl records with 11 receptions for 215 yards.
Damn! In the Super Bowl? 215 in the bowl? Nah, he was
Rice becoming just
bro.
the 3rd wide receiver ever to be named Super Bowl MVP capped off one of the most dominant postseason stretches ever by a receiver. Feeling on top of the world, things somehow only got better for him. The following season, Rice led the league in receiving yards and touchdowns with 1,483 and 17 before winning his 2nd ring. And again, he rose to the occasion in the Super Bowl with 7 receptions for 148 yards and 3 touchdowns. In 1990, Rice won the league's unofficial Triple Crown for receiving by leading all 3 main categories with 100 receptions for 1,502 yards and 13 touchdowns. Realistically, Rice couldn't have...
Yo, who the fuck was the corners back then? What the fuck is Deion saying?
For 1,502 yards and 13 touchdowns. Realistically, Rice couldn't have scripted his...
Was that Deion? Who was the corners back then, though? Like, why it was like, he is baking this shit out, y'all. It wasn't no lockdown corners.
First 6 seasons any better. He already had enough accomplishments to last an entire career. By this point, it was just accepted that Rice was unguardable. No matter what scheme an opposing defense concocted, he was going to get open. And over the next 4 seasons,
crazy,
Rice only continued his reign of terror on opposing defenses. During that stretch, he amassed a staggering 374 receptions for 5,409 yards and 52 touchdowns, leading the league in receiving yards and touchdowns twice, respectively, and adding another Offensive Player of the Year award. And to cap it off, in 1994, Rice brought home his 3rd ring while making more history. Just as he had done in his first 2 Super Bowls, Rice made it look like he was playing against a JV team. He finished with 10 receptions for 149 yards and 3 touchdowns. This took his combined totals in that particular game to historic levels, as his 28 receptions for 512 yards and 7 touchdowns were all career Super Bowl records. As people seem to take Rice's greatness for granted at this point, it would take him doing something truly special to surprise anyone, and that's exactly what he did during the 95 season, as he set a league record for most receiving yards in a single season, with 1,848. It wasn't until 1997, at 35 years old, when Rice started to look human for the first time since his rookie season. In the 49ers season opener, he tore his ACL and MCL. And as unbelievable as this sounds, Rice, up until that point, had never missed a game throughout high school, college, or the NFL. And while this injury should have forced him to miss the entire season, Rice ignored doctor's orders so that he could return in time for Joe Montana's jersey retirement. In that Week 16 game.
Nigga, what? Nigga tore his ACL in week 1 and came back in week 16? Fuck no!
Rice, so that he could return, should have forced him to miss the entire season. Rice ignored doctor's orders so that he could return in time for Joe Montana's jersey retirement. In that Week 16 game, Rice electrified the crowd by catching a touchdown in his return. However, there was a cruel twist. As he came down with the ball, he cracked his left patella. This time, his season was officially over. Coming off these serious injuries, people began to wonder how much he had left in the tank. And heading into his 14th season at the age of 36, this speculation was more than fair, but if anyone could find their way back, it would be Rice, the workhorse. He grinded all offseason, rehabbing his knee and trying to regain his form. In yet another chapter where Rice defies all logic, he went out and became the oldest receiver ever to record a 1,000-yard season. He followed this up with 2 more solid seasons before the unthinkable happened.
There's a Harbor Freight store in your neighborhood.
This nigga is
and the thing about neighborhoods.
This nigga amazing. What the fuck?
2 consecutive losing seasons, the 49ers decided it was time for a rebuild and said goodbye to the longtime face of their franchise. After being released in the 2001 offseason, Rice signed with the Raiders. Now 39 years old, with 16 seasons under his belt, he should have been running on empty. Instead, Rice managed to do things that only he could do. He put together back-to-back 1,000-yard campaigns and led the Raiders to their first Super Bowl appearance in nearly 20 years.
That is crazy. To play for such a long time, I had conditioned my body in a way that I could play for a long time.
But for the first time in his career, Rice came up short in the big game. Despite his 77 yards and a touchdown, the Raiders lost to the Buccaneers. That season, he was named an All-Pro and Pro Bowler at 40 years old. An unprecedented accomplishment for a wide receiver.
Jerry Rice, the best football player ever. No, I don't know. He like Brian, bro. Like, I don't know, bro. He just dominated all them years, gang. Win, lose, or draw. Like, he was cooking niggas every year. I guess like Tom Brady did the same thing, but for a little bit longer. But I just feel like as a receiver, bro, you taking way more hits. You running way more. Like, that's way harder to do, bro. I think Jerry Rice is the best player ever.
After a frustrating 2003 season and start to 2004, Rice demanded a trade. 6 games into that year, he went to Seattle in exchange for a 7th-round pick. But Rice couldn't really find his footing there and left during the following offseason to sign with the Broncos.
Still
However, he never...
Nigga like 45, look at his face. Oh, sit down, Jerry.
Wound up playing a snap for Denver and retired prior to the start of the 2005 season.
I'm done. I'm looking forward to the next phase of my life now.
On his way to being named first-team All-Pro 10 times, Rice led the league in receiving yards and touchdowns 6 times, respectively. When it was all said and done, he owned virtually every significant NFL receiving record. Some of the more notable career ones were receptions with 1,549, receiving yards with 22,895, 1,000-yard receiving seasons with 14, and total touchdowns with 208. To this day, Rice still owns NFL records for most touchdowns with 208. To this day, Rice still
prime time of that you.
owns NFL records for most career receptions, receiving yards, and touchdowns. Nobody has even come close to some of these, with Rice having over 5,000 more yards than the next closest person and 41 more touchdowns. From the eye test to his individual records to his team's success, there is no debating Jerry Rice as the greatest wide receiver of all time, nor his spot on football's Mount Rushmore for all players, regardless of position.
Nobody fucking with Jerry Rice, bro. You know, he the best receiver of all time.
I've heard the rumor.
The best of all time, gang. But if you like the video, subscribe to the channel. My socials at the top. Follow. The link to the original video is going to be in the description. And, bro, hold on, bro. Where you about to go?